children, this is my last video on the chapter Globalization and the Indian Economy. In this video, we will discuss previous year questions which are asked in the board exams. You will find a little twist in these questions, but if you have watched all the videos very carefully, I can assure you that you will be able to give answers like this. Okay, very easily. Only understanding is required and you will be able to give all the answers. Okay, let's begin our previous year questions. Okay, first question is, why do MNCs set up their offices and factories in those regions where they get cheap labor and other resources? Why do they set up their industries in those areas? Answer is very simple: to minimize the cost of production and to maximize their profits. Okay. Question number 2. What is meant by trade barrier? Trade barrier means the restrictions put by the Indian government on exports and imports of goods and services. It is particularly done to protect our domestic industries. Examples of trade barriers are tax on imports. Number 2, fixation of quotas. This is particularly done to uplift our domestic industries. Question number 3. Why did the Indian government remove trade barriers to a large extent on foreign trade and foreign investment? The Indian government has removed barriers to a large extent on foreign trade and investment in 1991. It is particularly done because now the government thought that the time has come that Indian producers, now they have become strong enough to compete at the international level. The competition from other countries will also help them to improve the quality of their produce. Okay, so these 2 points you have to write in this answer. Question number 4. Why are special economic zones being set up by central and state governments in India? Simple 1-mark question it is. Why SEZs are created? SEZs are created by state government and central government to attract foreign investment. Okay, in this answer you have to only write to attract foreign investment. Nothing to be written about SEZs. Next question. Which is the most common route for investment by MNCs in countries around the world? The most common route by which MNCs sets and controls production in different countries. It is by buying up local companies and then expand production. Next question. Under what conditions do MNCs set up production units? Or examine any 3 conditions which should be taken care of by MNCs to set up their production units. Or describe any 5 factors that promote the MNCs to set up their production units in a particular place. MNCs set up their production units on the basis of, number 1, सबसे important, proximity to the markets. Proximity means you can write closeness to the markets. Number 2, cheap labor. Number 3, availability of other factors of production. Number 4, favorable government policies. And number 5, developed infrastructure. This we have made a point because actually there are only 4 points: closeness to the market, availability of cheap, skilled and unskilled workers. Number 3, other factors of production. Number 4, favorable government policies. And number 5, wherever they get developed infrastructure. already, if there is a building or machines and tools are already there, so they go and set up in these countries. Why they look for all these 5 factors? So that they can keep their cost of production low and maximize their profits. This is the only aim of the MNCs. How to keep the cost of production low and how to maximize their profits. Next question. What are the benefits of MNC's production to the local companies? Or which 2 benefits local companies get when they set up production in association with MNCs? Or how are local companies benefited by collaborating with MNCs? Evaluate benefits, its benefits. So 3 तरीके से क्वेश्चन पूछा है, लेकिन हमको पढ़ के पता चल रहा है कि क्वेश्चन क्या पूछ रहा है कि what are the benefits which local companies get when they collaborate or when they do partnership with MNCs. Number 1, local companies get investment, foreign investment for buying machines, buildings, etc. Number 2, MNCs bring latest technology with them. The technology, it is the only thing which makes the difference in the quality of the products. So when MNCs enter into a country and a local company work with it in partnership, they get foreign investment for buying buildings, machines, etc. and they get latest technology to improve their production. Next question. Explain by giving examples that MNCs are spreading their production units in different ways. Okay, yes, MNCs are spreading their production units in 3 different ways. Number 1, by setting up partnership with local companies. Local companies also get twin benefits in this process. Number 1, just now we have discussed, they get foreign investment for buying buildings, machines, tools, etc. Number 2, they get latest technology to improve the quality of their products. For example, Ford Motors, an American automobile MNC. When it came to India, it collaborated with Mahindra and Mahindra. And today, with this collaboration, they are producing a large number of cars for the Indian roads and also for exporting to different countries. Number 2, the most common route by which MNC enters into a country is buying up the local company and then expand production. इसमें हमने एग्जाम्पल क्या पढ़ा था? कारगिल फूड्स. कारगिल फूड्स is an American MNC again. For example, Cargill Foods, an American MNC again. Cargill Foods have bought Parak Foods, Indian company, and then expanded production. With the help of improved technology, today it is producing variety of products. So this is the second way the MNC enters into a country. The third method is by placing orders to distant small producers across the world. MNCs place orders to these small distant producers and get these things back to the MNC. All these small producers send these goods back to the MNC, where MNCs brand these goods under their name and sell those products across the world again. So these are the 3 methods. Next, barriers on foreign trade and foreign investment were removed to a large extent in India since 1991. Justify. So many times I have told you, justify means you have to prove this sentence correct. Yes, barriers on foreign trade and foreign investment have been removed to a large extent in India since 1991. Now, The goods could be easily imported and easily exported. After 1991, the barriers on the trade were removed to a large extent. Now there is very less fixation of quota or very less tax on imports. Goods can move freely between the countries. Foreign companies can set up their production units and offices in our country. It has given opportunities to the Indian producers to compete with these foreign producers and improve the quality of their products. Next question. A wide-ranging choice of goods are available in the Indian markets. Support the statement with examples. Or, in a matter of years, Indian markets have been transformed with wide-ranging choice of goods. Inverted commas. Support the statement with examples. Read question very carefully. In a matter of few years, that the Indian markets have been transformed to a large extent. Yes, this is true. Gone the days when only Fiat and Ambassador were on the Indian roads. Now, the latest models of phones, mobiles, cameras, manufactured by leading producers of the world are available in the Indian market. Every other month, we can see the latest model of the cars on the Indian roads. A similar type of explosion can be seen in other goods also, whether it is fast food or cold drinks or any type of packaged food material. You can see a variety of goods in the markets. You can visit any shopping center, you will find many varieties of goods which were not there earlier. So it is correctly said that Indian markets have transformed in past few years. Next question. Globalization and greater competition among producers has been of advantage to consumers. Justify the statement. Or, how do we feel the impact of globalization on our daily life? Who are we? We are consumers. What is the impact of globalization on our daily life? Daily life means, what is the impact of globalization on consumers? Number one, consumers have a wide range of choice in the market. Choice of goods in the market rises. Consumers have improved quality of goods at lower price. They enjoy higher standard of living than before. So we can see that consumers are benefited by this globalization. Next question. What is globalization? Describe the role of MNCs in the process of globalization, or analyze the importance of MNCs in the process of globalization. Globalization is rapid integration and interconnection of different countries, and MNCs play a major role in the process of globalization. When MNCs sets up their industries or offices, factories in other countries, it helps in the integration of different countries. Number two, they have enormous wealth. So when they come with foreign investment. With this foreign investment, number three, they help in increasing employment opportunities in the host country. When they come into a country, they come along with latest technology, which promotes the process of globalization. It is due to MNCs only. The choice of goods in the market rises, which is very, very beneficial for the consumers. And this is how the consumers are using the goods and services which are manufactured in other countries. This also results in integration of countries. They increase employment opportunities, particularly in the IT sector. And when they enter into a country and collaborate with the local companies also become profitable. They also get benefits. So by all these 5 points, we can see that how MNCs have stimulated the process of globalization. Rapid integration and interconnection of countries is only possible with these big MNCs. Next question. What is trade barrier? I think this is again in long answer it has been asked. How can governments use trade barriers? What is trade barrier? We already know. Trade barriers are the restrictions set by the government on imports and exports of goods and services. How the governments can use trade barriers? The government can use trade barriers by putting tax on the imports, by fixation of quotas, by giving shelter and protection to their native industries. And why do the government uses these trade barriers? Because they know that Indian industries are not so strong that they can compete at the international level with these big MNCs. So to protect them, to give them shelter, to help them to become strong enough to compete in the international market, the government uses trade barrier to regulate the trade, so that when these industries will become strong, then these barriers can be removed. Next question. What is tariff? Why is it imposed? Again, what is tariff? Why is it imposed on goods? Same question. Tariff is same, tax on imports. Tariff is tax on imports. And why it is used? Why it is imposed? To protect the native domestic industries from foreign competition. And number 2, to generate revenue. Government gets revenue from these taxes. What changes have occurred in India due to adoption of the policy of liberalization and globalization? What changes occurred in the Indian economy by adopting the policy of liberalization and globalization? The policy of liberalization and globalization have given boost to the foreign investment. A large number of MNCs have invested their money in India. These MNCs are giving us improved quality of goods at lower price. Employment opportunities have increased in India, particularly in the IT sector. We are getting improved infrastructure. आप देखिए कितने सुंदर हॉस्पिटल्स हमको आज मिलते हैं, स्कूल्स मिलते हैं, मॉल्स मिलते हैं, मार्केट्स मिलते हैं. It is all because of the technology which these MNCs bring with them in our country. Employment opportunities you see, कितने बच्चे हैं जो MNCs में काम कर रहे हैं. So employment opportunity अच्छी मिल रही है, consumers को benefit मिल रहा है. We have more foreign investment in the country with this liberalization and globalization policy. Indian large companies, the Indian top manufacturing countries, they themselves have emerged as MNCs. So with these policies of liberalization and globalization, Indian economy has been benefited, whether it is large producers or consumers. Okay, but if the question will be, the impact of globalization is not uniform, then you have to write a section which is not that benefited by the globalization. Okay, in that you will write about the workers and the small producers who are not benefited by globalization. So let's discuss this answer. The next question is, the impact of globalization is not uniform. तो इसमें हम क्या लिखने वाले हैं? The impact of globalization is not at all uniform. It is beneficial for some and it is less beneficial, or we can say harmful, for others. Beneficial for large producers and consumers. Large producers, as we have just now, we have seen that large industries themselves emerged as MNCs. Large industries, they have technology, and with that technology they could compete at the international level. Consumers, as we have read just now, we have variety of goods, improved quality of goods, lower prices of goods, better standards, higher standards. अगर हम negative impact देखें, small producers, those who could not compete with these large MNCs, they were forced to shut down. They were very hard hit by these MNCs, or by this globalization. The workers working in these industries, because industries shut down, small scale industries shut down, workers working under these industries became jobless. They found new jobs, but those jobs were very irregular. They were given very low wages. Their time was not fixed. They were not paid overtime, and like this they were not benefited at all. So for this you can write divide your answer into positive and negative. Last question of this PYQ is, what is fair globalization, and the role of the government and the people in fair globalization? Fair globalization creates equal opportunities for all. Its benefits are shared better. बस दो ही लाइन हमको लिखनी है. Creates equal opportunities for all and its benefits should be shared better. This is fair globalization. Role of government. The government must see that its policies are not only protecting rich and powerful, but all the people of the country. The government must see that the labor laws are properly implemented and workers should get their rights. Government can give protection or shelter to its native industries if required to regulate foreign trade. The government can impose trade barriers if required. Government can negotiate at WTO for fairer rules. And lastly, the government can align with the other countries of similar interests, and then it can ask WTO why there is domination of developed countries in WTO. So all these 5-6 reasons we have to write, statements we have to write for role of the government. Next part of the question is role of the people. What people can do? You can see in your book, one picture is given of Hong Kong demonstration in 2005. That people can demonstrate, they can protest peacefully, and they can ask for their rights, for the fairer globalization, for the fairer rules. We can ask same question which the government is asking, why there is domination of developed countries at the WTO. We can ask why these developed countries are not following the norms of WTO. So we can do peaceful protests, demonstration, and we can give our opinion. Okay, so with this, our previous year questions of board exams are over. I hope you have understood all the answers. And I also hope that this video will be very beneficial for you all.